I wanted to talk to you about historic buildings. There's been a few buildings in Tampa that have been torn down that I know a lot of people are disappointed over. One of them being where One Tampa, that new condominium, is going to be. First Watch was there.
Yes.
Gorgeous old building. I understand.
Yeah.
That
that one did raise some.
There's a lot that comes with ownership of a historic building.
Oh.
You know that, of
Yeah.
course, and we can talk about that a little
Yeah.
later. But why tear down a building like that? Is it a safety issue? Is it a financial? It's not advantageous to put money into a structure like that. Like, why would you tear down a building that's gorgeous and historic like that?
Back to public safety. So in any development project, you're going to look at your pro forma, what you can do with the project. It's maximum build up, maximum capacity, but then you have to outweigh the public character. I mean, there are laws in place that specifically are designed to say, let's keep some of what we can. But at some point, it's almost unrepairable. I mean, and you have to look at the quality of the building and what you can do with the property.
Right.
So, other bigger cities have been dealing with this for years. New York City,
Yeah.
Chicago, these cities are always fighting against, we don't want to lose our character of who we were, but we don't want to lose our potential of what we could be. So there's a fine line of, potential versus kind of your original historic character. And it's a negotiation. The Crest Building, downtown Tampa. I had tried to walk through that building with other development teams. That sat there for 20 years. The facade's almost falling off the edge of the building. It's a gorgeous building. But the cost to repair it was exorbitant to get it to the point where it's safe to even go in to repair it.
Is it almost like what we talked about earlier in the conversation where it's like, there's foundation issues, tree issues.
Yeah.
So it's more so it's going to cost a ridiculous amount of money to even get it to a base
to get
level
it to the point where you can start
before you do tile,
yes,
et cetera.
Yes, that building, to get it to the point where you had to spend a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it to the point where it's even able to go inside to begin to fix it. You have to stabilize. When you have to stabilize a building before you can even repair a building, that's where it gets really challenging. We had a fire in Ybor City right down here. The space is still the old Palladium, I think it was. It was a dance. The guy was welding a disco ball in a ceiling, and it caught on fire. I was here. I actually drove back like crazy to my building. I'm like, oh God, the fire's right there. Nothing's happened because of the challenges of restoring that building. They built it back, the facade, but all the work you have to do just to stabilize. After stabilizing, then you have to repair. Then you have to renovate. Then you have to bring back up to current code. So bringing these buildings, like what we're in right now, back to current code, sometimes can cost 2 to 3 times the cost of normal construction.
How does Europe figure it out, though?
They have no choice.
Right.
Yeah. They a lot of times will have requirements like in Ybor City, I don't know if you're aware that you can only build to a certain height. And it's determined based on the brewery building, the old category building over there, that you can't build higher than that tower.
Yeah.
So a lot of Europes will go through and they will set height guidelines because they said, I don't care. You can only go to this high. You can only build this kind of thing. You use certain materials are the other things. We go into design districts. Ybor City, the barrio, does an amazing job. Ron Veal and his team do an amazing job of maintaining the character of Ybor.
Yeah.
Of saying 7th Avenue is something sacred to Tampa. We do not want to lose that.
Right.
So you have to go through. When we pick a color on this building, hardware, if I want to pick a hardware, I have to send it to them to have them look at it, to evaluate it based on the guidelines of 7th Avenue. So everything you've seen on the outside of our building has been checked by somebody, to the paint color, to the hardware, to the locks.
That's so important, though.
Everything.